Rook, dearest, please trust me. I must take you to the Necropolis before we confront Elganon.
I trust you, Emmrich.
Thank you, darling.
Did we have to risk visiting the Necropolis?
I needed its subtler enchantments to detect what we must know. There's no mark of the cursed Solus left on you. Darling, I thought I'd lost you forever in the Fade.
I thought so too. It was... I don't know what that was.
A dream. A reflexive curse you overcame with your own reflection.
Thought I knew all about the Veil as a Watcher. I still don't know how you found me.
There are things in the Fade we cannot circumscribe. I'm grateful it returned what's most dear to me.
If you and the others hadn't pulled me out... Some Watcher I was, stuck in the Fade. And the worst part? I wasn't afraid I'd die. I was afraid I'd be there forever.
You're not. You're here with me.
I'm fine, Emmrich. It's all over.
Only because you had the presence of mind to push forward. If things had gone differently...
I still wouldn't have let them keep us apart.
My love, you are the most remarkable person I've ever known.
I did have someone to come back to.
Rook? Hmm? I was going to fetch some breakfast. Would you like anything? Come again? Come again? Come again?
What time is it?
It's nearly dawn. I've been up for an hour.
How come?
It's when I normally wake up.
On purpose? If you didn't have stately good looks, this would be a problem.
Is that yes to breakfast?
Maybe later. Of course you're an early riser.
I like to take my exercise in the morning.
That's nice. Peaceful down here. You could almost pretend nothing's wrong up top.
When I'm with you, it feels as if there isn't.
That's sweet.
I do mean it. Whatever's in store for us, together, my darling. That's how we'll face it.
I know. We could stay here just a little longer.
What are you... If you insist. It is once more the eve before we face a god. I couldn't begin to do this without you, darling. Once we triumph in Minrathous, there are such things I would show you.
How's things back home, Emmrich?
Outbreaks of malicious spirits, panic at the eclipse. The Watchers are helping keep order. Fortunately, we're not as vulnerable to darkspawn as some other kingdoms.
You can't blight what's already dead.
Ah, speaking of which, some of the same undead you stopped during the War of the Banners are now tasked with supporting our living legions.
It's probably for the better I'm not home right now, then.
Best to let our undead gentry sate themselves in war. I'm relieved beyond measure that we took the time to visit Blackthorn Manor, Rook. Given Johanna's partnership with the Venatori, I'm sure they would have eagerly employed her bone construct had we not stopped her.
I'll have to put together something more useful once I'm out of here.
We've already discussed the likelihood of this, Johanna. I'll be ready whenever you are, dearest. Oh, it is purest relief to see us all gathered safe and sound. And Manfred would never forgive me if we returned without Nev. Elganon must fear what we might accomplish once we storm his tower.
We've already killed an archdemon and a god. We can do it again.
While Elganon's magic is fearsome, Solus is our true adversary.
To come this far, only to fail at the last minute. The irony will kill me before Elganon can.
Elganon will be formidable, but it's Solus who truly worries me.
Stay focused. If Elganon doesn't have any surprises, Solus will.
Of the two, the dread wolf frightens me most.
I never dreamed a pair of watchers would decide the fate of the Fade. Especially me.
To always watch over the boundaries of death and measure the dreaming sea. Elganon is a tyrant, but it's truly Solus who threatens us. He is, however, a former spirit. As such, Solus cannot help but listen to appeals to his nature, his yearning for reflection.
I could try talking him down once I find him.
We should depart soon, dearest. How I wish we were already safely home together. I love you, my darling Rook.
I can't imagine what my life would be like without you, Emmrich.
There's so much I'd like to say once this is past, to plan with you.
I'd like that. If I lost you, Be careful out there, Emmrich.
Promise me you'll do the same.
I promise. I love you too, Emmrich.
Come what may, I will carry those words with me. I'd no idea we'd be drawn together when we first met. No man alive is more fortunate than I. Speak the word, Rook, and I shall stand by your side.
Throne room's just ahead. Everybody ready?
There's nowhere I'd rather be, dearest.
With Elganon and Gillenane dead, and the Inquisitor finally reunited with her true love, it looked like one of the biggest stories this world had ever seen was finally drawing to a close.
The story of the Veilguard. A team of heroes who stood strong against evil, no matter the cost. Whatever it takes. But whenever one story ends, another begins.
Like the story of the Grey Wardens, clearing the remains of the Blight so that the flowers can grow again.
Or the story of Arcandorian Parvus, dragging Tevinter into a new era with bold and forceful measures.
Or the story of a caretaker standing watch for new heroes.
For the Antivan Crows, it would be a story of bringing a traitor to justice and reclaiming Treviso from the Blight.
Among the Veil Jumpers, the fall of the last elven gods meant Arlethan was reborn.
At their heart, stories are about change.
A man seeing his ward become more than he could ever have imagined.
A woman standing watch against anyone that would threaten Darktown.
An assassin driving out the darkness in his city and himself.
A student of history, helping the elves regain what they lost.
A dragon hunter forging a new life for themselves.
Or the Griffins, returning to the Grey Wardens.
There are stories of love.
But those stories aren't over. And we will always be grateful to those whose stories brought us where we are today. And those whose stories will live on with us forever.